How's everyone?
Everyone is great. How are you?
Good? Thanks for driving from far away.
Of course.
So, let's start by, raise your hand who has read, who knows what chapters we're supposed to read?
7 and 8.
And what are they?
Leadership.
And?
Decisions.
Decision?
Yeah. I kind of fell asleep on chapter 8 last night. So.
Make
Leadership.
sure that doesn't happen here on my watch.
So what?
Won't happen on my watch. Let's see.
Don't worry, just signal me and I'll punch
No,
it.
don't worry. I'm totally awake.
According to my notes, we did imagination last week. That was the last chapter, right?
Yeah.
Did you guys do your vision boards?
Years ago.
Huh?
Years ago.
Well, you gotta renew it, man.
Renew it? I want to follow the same dreams. I still don't
That's
get
fine.
the house that
Add
I
more
want.
into it.
Add more. I mean,
Right.
I'm kind of packed. I have to get a bigger one.
Add, keep
Okay.
adding.
Done.
All
I'll
right.
do it.
Make it bigger.
No, but I'm not
The
changing the
vision
house.
boards.
The house is still the house.
Vision boards.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, I have things that I had for 8 years, right? But I keep adding more stuff.
So you have like a big vision board and just
I have a big one, yeah.
max one
It's
out.
not as big. It's like, it's like this. It's like from here to there, like that.
Oh, nice.
That's pretty big.
So,
Big.
the thing is, like, for example, you'll find later that there are things that are more meaningful than just the house, the car, this and that. I mean, I still have all those things because I like them, but then I start adding more
Do you have a
phrases.
picture of your car, the one you have on your body yet? You still?
Yes.
But you already have it.
Yeah, but I don't want to rip it up, you know?
Okay.
It's
So
there.
if you make
And it's
it,
like kind of like a reaffirmation that you look at it, it's like, oh, I have that now, I have that now, so actually it makes you feel better.
so if you do a new board, you're gonna put the car again?
No, I think my new board is to a whole new board and I'll keep the old one too.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't get rid of it. I keep adding, but I don't get rid of the stuff. That's what I do.
Before we start, quick question. Do you procrastinate?
No, I don't,
At all?
at all.
Did you before?
I used to, yeah,
Used
for
to.
sure, yeah. I don't now, I just do it. Like today in the morning, I couldn't sleep last night until 1, and I woke up
You
at
couldn't?
5 and I was tired, I was like, should I skip the gym today? Maybe I'll skip the gym. I debated for like 5 minutes and I just got out of bed, washed my face with cold water, and I was off.
He's
So,
walking Nike out.
so,
Why you couldn't sleep? You got too excited about the class today? So like,
yes,
oh my god.
yes, I was last night, oh. All right, so raise your hand who has worked with your vision boards, whether it's old one or new one, who has one? Everybody? You need to do one? You need to do one?
I need to do one.
I mean, it's so much fun. I mean,
It is.
it's
I need to do
freaking
one.
fun. Don't you think it's fun?
Absolutely.
Right?
It's fun to do in a group too.
Yeah, that's
Fun
it.
activity.
Yeah, get together, hang out, and do it, you know? So it's a cool thing to do, I'm telling you. It will put you in the right vibration. It will put you in the right mood. It will put you in a good vibration, you know? So, and every time you look at it, you should feel that way, you know? That's why it needs to be in a place where you see it all the time. I did upload it with pictures, my digital vision board that I have in my office, as I told you guys. So I actually did that. So example that I don't procrastinate.
Okay.
Although this week was insane.
Yes, you did that. You remember
Everything
saying
of you. We had a very rough and busy week. I want you to just take a little time to go in the back of your workbook or somewhere where you have a white page and qualify yourself. You don't need to tell us, just for you. From 1 to 10, where you think you are, on 1 being, I'm coming to the classes, I come to one class, I don't come to another one, I'm trying to come as much as I can, but I'm super busy, I'm not doing it, and I haven't done my vision board, I haven't done my, I don't know what my goal is, I don't know what my statement is, I haven't, meditated, I haven't visualized, I haven't done a lot. I mean, I like the idea, but I'm not following, that's 1. Pretty much not doing it right. And 10 is you have done every single thing that we discussed from day 1. You have read all the chapters, you've been doing all the exercises, you're filling up your workbook, we cover a chapter You've been doing everything, you've been calling your accountability partner, maybe 3 times a week at least. Who's calling? Who's not? No one's calling, right? I can bet money that no one is called this week to their accountability partner.
I don't know.
We logged a lot of hours.
So you guys talk? Wow.
What if we went
Round of applause for Rowley. The only ones, because I'm not even doing it. So,
Okay, fine, we've been talking for.
okay.
Yeah, we've been
Good.
talking.
All right, good. That makes me happy. Better. So, the one thing that keeps me happy is that we have still a good amount of people, because those that have done this for the years, we know that by this chapter, it drops at half. And I see that from the first day to where we are right now, we're more than half. So that's good, thank you for that. All right, let's jump in. Organized planning, who wants to say a little bit of what they understand for this, like we always do? It's a long chapter to read, okay? But it's pretty simple. I mean, the concept, you just need to understand the concept and then go and apply this in whatever way you want to do it. But who understands the concept of what organized planning means, and what do you understand for this chapter? Can you share? Someone? Yes.
I think, up to this point where you've talked about a lot of like, you can plan, and kind of goes into the procrastination, you can plan, and you can think, you can do everything, but until you really have like a, plan of action, like how am I going to actually do it, it doesn't really mean that much, because it's just, kind of like thoughts in your mind. It really needs to be more concrete, how do you get from A to B?
I think it's like any business plan, it's a strategy and then the approach of how you're gonna reach that strategy and the goal, and everything kind of has to go into that bigger form, and that's like how you pitch it to a company, like I'm gonna accomplish this and you should pick me because I'm gonna do it in this kind of a way and I'm gonna achieve that in X, Y, and Z way.
Yeah, they're both great. Anyone else? No? Okay. So, I always say, what would happen if you get into a taxi and you tell the guy, just take me, I don't know where I'm going, just drive. Take me somewhere. That will lead you to town called nowhere, right? If you don't know where you're going, it's gonna be expensive, it's gonna be painful, it's gonna be long. You need to have a very clear idea where you're going. Clear idea where you're going. I know exactly where I'm going, right? And nothing's gonna stop me, period, end of the story.
And don't let anyone else distract you.
That's it. Like, you need to know clearly what's gonna happen, and whatever the outside opinions, whatever the economy is doing, whatever the stock market's doing, whatever is happening there cannot distract you of what your goal is, because it does not matter, right? So once you have that very clear, and I know that in the beginning it's hard to, grasp that and believe in it, because you have to believe in it. Once you have that clear, that's step one. Step two is to actually do it. That's where 99% of the people fail, is the execution, right? You go and create the most amazing business plan, you go to the best seminar, you're all pumped up, you know exactly what you need to do, but you don't do it. Okay, so most people don't, and that's really what makes the difference of who makes it happen and who doesn't. It's that simple. If you don't schedule it, it's not real. Until you put in your schedule, I'm gonna door knock Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 9 to 10, and you say you're gonna do it, I'm telling you, you're not gonna do it. It's the same thing that the accountability partner. You're not gonna do it. But if you put in your schedule that you need to make a call at 8 o'clock in the morning, or 9 or 10 or 14 or whatever you want, you gotta make that call, and you take it as the same amount of importance of calling your best client, you'll make it happen, right? So I schedule everything, including my haircuts. Everything is in my calendar. You have to have every single thing scheduled in there. I have a family calendar where I schedule stuff with my family that I share with my wife, so I know what I need to be, where I need to pick up my kids and everything. If not, I won't do it. And then we have the work calendar, right? So when I heard Tony Robbins say that if you don't schedule, it's not real, it really got me, because I was not scheduling anything at the time. I wanted to be busy, but I wasn't filling up my calendar with anything. So I look at my calendar yourself organized planning. Tomorrow, I'm gonna have 1 hour of phone calls, I'm gonna have 1 hour of door knocking, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go there, and then I'm gonna take a 2-hour break for lunch, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna go to the gym between this time, and then all of a sudden you're busy. And that feeling of being busy is gonna get you to be busier. All right? So that's what really this is about. It's not procrastinating. So that's step number 2 is actually scheduling and doing it. Right? And what's step number 3? There's nothing here, so don't look for it because I'm making up my own steps. For what I understand what it is. I'm trying to simplify it. I mean,
Make
there's a lot of stuff in
decisions
here.
along the way that follow the approach and strategy so that you're reaching that goal. And like you said, how your buddies here, always checking in with someone else that could be your mentor, your friend, someone, so that you're accountable. People ask,
Stick to
how's
it.
it going? Like, no one wants to be like, oh, I didn't do that. Like, no one likes that being like,
Follow
Right.
through.
like, so follow through.
Yeah, you gotta stick to it. Just stick to it. That's super important. The number 2 is the hardest one. The 3 is very important because you gotta stick to it until it actually happens. Just dig your heels in and you're gonna make it happen, and you need to be certain because when you send that message, when you give that energy to the universe that I'm gonna fucking make it happen no matter what, then that goes out there and it's like saying, it's like, who has kids? Okay. So what happens when your son or your daughter has made up their mind that they need to do something or they want something? They harass you, right? They ask you and they talk about it, and 2 months later you're watching a movie, it's like, oh, that's why I wanted that. Like literally they're on it, okay? Kids, as we discussed before, are the closest to the source because they're very close to coming from there. As we get older, we separate more and more and more. So that's why kids do certain things that we should learn from them. So just stick to it because if you send that message and finally you just like, fuck, this guy's not gonna give up. Might as well give it to him, right? That's how it kind of works, right? So, and that is a lot of interesting stuff in here that we can read a couple, maybe 4 of each. Like, for example, the major attributes of leadership, right? And we read courage based upon knowledge of self and of one's occupation. Courage, self-control. The men who cannot, or women that cannot control himself can never control others. Self-control sells a mighty example of one's followers which are more intelligent anyway. So if I don't read this, how can I come and talk to you about this, right? If I don't wake up in the morning and go to the gym, how can I tell you should go and work out? Like, you have to have self-control for other ones to believe in you and to, how can you go to a client, right, and convince them that you are the person that can sell that house if you show up late? Non-starter, right? So you need to have self-control and you need to manage your stuff. You cannot go out tonight if you have an appointment tomorrow at 8 o'clock and drink until 2 o'clock in the morning and pretend everything's gonna be fine. If you cannot control yourself on maybe going out and having 2 drinks and come back and sleep and be ready for tomorrow, if you cannot control that because it's your best friend's party or whatever it is, then it's not gonna work. That's the way it is. You need to be disciplined. You need to be disciplined. Discipline is one of the best attributes that a person can have. And keen sense of justice. This is super important. In this business, sometimes we're put in situations where, you know, clients work with everybody. You know, nobody really owns a client. No client really owns anything to any of us, other than us bringing value to them and them wanting to work with us. Every time we sell a house, think about that you're fired and you need to earn that person's business again. It's not like I sold him a house, every single transaction he's going to do for life is going to be with me, and if my buddy so-and-so sells a house for him, I'm going to be pissed at both of them. Like Dave Chappelle would say, work? It's like, doesn't work that way, you know? It's like, you gotta earn it again, over and over and over again, and you can't end relationships because that happens, because everybody has a choice, right? If you go to Gelson's groceries, and there's a new supermarket, and you go and check it out, Gelson's not gonna be upset with you, it's like, oh, you cannot come here anymore because you went there. Right? It's kind of stupid. So, but you gotta be, you know, you gotta have that sense of justice because you are put in situations where you're always gonna make the right decision or the bad decision, or you're gonna call that guy and let him know that, you know, you're bringing the listing, or you're gonna share with him the listing, or you're gonna offer him something, and, you know, we're tested all the time. I was tested this week, right? And I did the right choice, and it feels good. So you gotta have that keen sense of justice. Everything should be for the benefit of everybody, not just you. Because if you're looking for only your benefit, you'll get it that time, but it doesn't last. And you want it to be long lasting, right?
I think on the opposite side too, you will be screwed if you haven't already. It's going to happen, and it's like not letting yourself like, well, if they're going to do it, then I'm going to do it too. Like if everyone's just in it for themselves, like that's the business. It will come back to you at some point. Like relationships are the most important thing in life, and well, you'll just have to let those things go, and it's easier said than done, but that's the truth. Otherwise, you have negative energy that's just like consuming you during the day when you could be doing other things.
And I think you said this once, it's keeping in touch with people, and it's like romance, right? You can't never bring your wife flowers and think she's not gonna be upset. Like you have to continuously, not because she's your wife. You said that about a client a long time ago, like if you haven't touched base with them in 10 years, I mean, you haven't touched base with them, you can't be pissed that then they want to use someone else who they've been hanging out with for like the last 6 months, right? So.
In 10 years, there is like 3 relatives and 2 new best friends from that person that got a license, and they're a problem. That's kind of how it works, right?
It'll never be like passive income.
So I'm gonna read 3 more that are really cool ones. The habit of doing more than paper. It's like when you working out and you wanna grow a muscle, right? You do 10 reps, but if you push for 12, those 2 extra ones are the ones that are gonna get your muscle to grow. Right? Right about when you're like, I'm done, I'm tired, I wanna give up, if you push that extra 2, extra 3, those are the ones that really count. Same thing. If you do the extra for your clients, if you work a little bit more, you work an extra hour, I'm telling you, it pays off. It does.
Depends on the client.
Always.
But that doesn't need to be paid off by that same source, by the way.
No, I get it.
Just on your point. If you do the extra work for one client and he doesn't recognize that, it's gonna come from somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that's actually showing you that that person doesn't deserve your work. So then you should be happy
That
about
depends
it.
on the client.
Then you're getting rid of that. Right?
Right.
Talks about pleasing personality. And that's one of the main things when I go and talk to the Skirball Center and we're talking and everybody's like, what's the secret and this and that? You have to have a pleasing personality. And how you achieve that, in order to achieve a pleasing personality and be pleasant to everybody else out there, you need to keep yourself first. You need to feel good with yourself, right? Whatever it is that gets you to be in a good place, do it. Meditate, work out, run, swim, I don't know, whatever it is that gets you to be like, okay, I feel good about it. Like when I work out, I meditate in the morning, and I told you already my routine, I don't repeat 100 times. Then I come and I feel like I can be in any appointment. In any appointment because I'm happy about myself, I feel good about myself, you know, and then you just good, right? So people pick up on that. And this is one of the most important attributes that successful people have. Because we all make mistakes. I don't care what level of your career are, we all make mistakes. But if you have the ability to recognize the mistake, instead of get defensive and say, you know what, I fucked up. When you're able to say that, people appreciate that. And they say, you know what, he made a mistake. But he said that he's messed up, and he said, you know, he made one mistake. And he made mistakes over and over and over again. That's a whole different issue. But people will recognize that when you're good at what you do and you mean well, and you made a mistake and you recognize and you take responsibility for it, you get the respect even more higher, right?
Especially if you make it right.
Yes, of course. Well, that's the way to do it, yeah.
And along with that also is what I found, and I was taught this a long time ago, that if you don't know the answer to something, don't make it up or don't kind of try to give a half answer, whatever. People respect a lot more when you just say, I don't know, let me find out and I'll get right back to you. And then when you do, and you get them the right answer, they feel really good about it. Or even just, we gave an example of like the thing having to do with, commercial real estate, when they came to you. I had that example, a client came to me literally like, I want to buy this $4 million commercial building, you're my guy, so will you do it? And I'm like, they literally just came to me, just do the deal and get paid for it. And I looked at them like, I have zero idea how to do this. I know other stuff, but I referred it internally. I got them on the phone with Alex within 2 hours. They ended up in a multiple. They got the truck, like all this kind of stuff. But it just made me look that much better because they're like, oh my God, thank you for putting us in touch with the right person who helped us and got us. And you do that kind of thing. Where I would totally fucked it up just because I didn't understand it.
Yeah, exactly. And you're servicing the client well doing that way. You're still advising him. You're still holding his hand. You just put it in the right direction with a professional that does that, right? All right, let's read a few of these ones too, which are important. I don't like to dwell too much time on these ones because I don't like to think about them too much. I like to think about the positive ones more than the negatives. That's why I don't watch the news and I don't want to talk about that stuff and whatever. Because it makes a difference. Like, if you have a negative friend, you might want to get rid of him. I'm not joking. I'm dead serious. If you have a person that drags you down, that you had a conversation and you have explained to them that you don't want to be brought in those kind of conversations, that you love them to death, but when you hang out, you like to talk about different stuff and they don't get it, you cannot be friends with that person. I'm sorry. You can't. The 10 major causes of failure in leadership. Inability to organize details. There you go. If you don't organize yourself, if you don't schedule stuff, you'll fail. Unwillingness to render humble service. Obvious. Expectation of pay for what they know instead of what they do with what they know. Fear of completion from followers. Lack of imagination. How can that be possible? Imagination is free, right? And it's limitless. How can you have lack of imagination?
Some people don't have the vision.
Go watch Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I don't know.
Why do we stage houses?
Right?
Why do we stage houses? People don't have the vision.
You have to work in your imagination. That's why the exercises in here help you with that. The vision board helps you with that because as you are engaging with images, with experiences, with whatever it is that gets you excited, you're activating those emotions and you're starting to imagine yourself having them, and that's how you work it. It's a muscle. You need to work it, you need to work it, you need to work it, not one time, many times. Disloyalty, and the emphasis on the title. The component leaders require no title. To give him the respect of his followers. So I'm reading a book, actually, I just started this morning for second time, and I think I let you guys know it's a really, really, really good book to pump you up, and it's no bullshit. It's called Relentless by Tim Grover. I suggested that I think last year, or 2 years ago. It's an amazing book that literally talks about three kinds of personalities, right? You have the coolers, are the people that are good at what they do, They show up on time, they do it, but, when there's stress or situations changing or whatever, they don't really know how to handle it, right? Then you have the closers. The closers actually show up to close the deals on those situations, and they can handle stress, but the closers like to be called something. They like to be recognized by people. They do it because what people are going to say of their success. And then you have the cleaners, and they give examples like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, that they don't give a shit about what people say. They only have one goal, and nothing is going to stop them from achieving that goal. And they don't care what people say. As soon as they achieve the goal, they're already thinking about the next one. They're not celebrating like the closers of the achievement of that goal. They're already thinking about, okay, what's next? Because there is never enough. So it's a very cool, interesting book. You should read it. You should all read it. It's It's really, really good.
That sounds like it has its own set of problems.
It's a great
It's
book.
never good enough.
Yes,
You're never done.
yes. But that's what it's
How
like.
many wives do they have?
They don't need to. They don't need to. But that's the thing.
Right.
It's like they don't need to, they don't measure stuff with things. It's not about what they have or what they achieve, it's about what's next and what's next and what's next and what's next. So, I don't think it relates to how many wives you need to have. All right, I think that's kind of like the most important. I mean, I told you the 3 steps that I told you in the beginning is what you should like really think about. Just organize yourself, know what you want, make it happen, and stick to it. Success requires no explanations. Failure permits no alibis. All right, here's the one that's going to change your life. Decision. Why is decision important?
gotta
Without
know.
it, you don't know which direction you're going.
You don't know what you want.
That's the action.
Yeah, you're all right.
Not procrastinate.
Decision is the moment that you actually change and say no more. Now it's going to happen. Like that's the time where you're fed up, where you're tired of being the same, where you're tired of pulling up with the same shit, where you're tired of the whatever's happened from that moment behind. Decision is the moment that you say no more and I'm not looking back and that's where I'm going now and you don't stop. But the decision, the real decision is when you actually make that change and then one day you said that was the day and you recognize and you know, I know exactly when my decision moment was. And you know when it was. And you know that that moment is because everything before that is completely different than what's after that. It changed. It's like a turning a switch. There was no light, now it's light, right? So
Last year, Santiago, you said it's when a decision is when you get introduced to yourself.
yes,
I thought that was important.
yes. That day that you're like so down and you're on the bottom of it, that you will get introduced to your real self. That self will pick you up. They will say you can do it. You're the only one's gonna do it for you. No one else is gonna do it for you. Stop the shit, get up and go. That's the day that you make a decision and you make it happen. And I remember clearly when it happened to me, and I'll tell you. So I started in real estate in 2004, right? And it was very hard. It was very difficult because I didn't know anyone. I didn't have any relatives, and you know the whole story. And it was very rough for the first year. I
How old
was
were you?
working in the restaurants.
How old were you?
24. And I was working in the restaurants because I needed cash and money to survive. And it was fine. I mean, I didn't have an amazing, luxurious life, but I was fine. I had a home, I had food, I had a job, and I was doing real estate during the day. I sold a condo to, in that entire year, I sold a $498,000 condo on Larrabee, I remember, to one of the other waiters that worked with me that owned it, a guy from Australia. And I got in there. And that was my one deal that I did in the first year. That's it. The second year, for the first 8 months, I didn't do anything. Like I could not get any business. Like I was door knocking like crazy. I was doing all that in a very desperate way instead of doing it in the right way. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. I was door knocking in desperation. People saw me despair and they were like, fuck, man, close the door. Right? That's just how it is. And then you change your attitude and you decide to do things a certain way. And I met a gentleman named Rodrigo Iglesias. And I searched for him. I was like, it has to be someone that is going through this shit. I cannot be the only immigrant that came, I don't know anyone. There's gotta be someone that got in real estate that has made it happen. And I just put that out there. And one day I get a call from a mortgage officer that got us a house, our Carla and I, we bought a house in Los Piles. And she's like, hey, there's a guy that I really want you to meet. And she introduced me to a guy in Coldwell Banker named Ted Fleming. And I called Ted Fleming, who's in business still, and I go, hey, someone suggested that we should meet, let's go and chat. So he was in Coldwell Banker on Canon, and I was in Keller Williams on Canon. Same office that you guys were, right? And he comes, he's like, I only have 15 minutes. I'm like, that's fine. We went around the block, talking, and he's like, you know what you remind me of? You should call this guy Rodrigo Iglesias. And I'm like, who is that? He's like, this guy from Argentina that came, nothing, and made it happen. I was like, that's exactly what I'm looking for. He's like, he's freaking the guy. And at the time, he was the king. He was the guy in real estate, right? He was the number one. So I researched the guy. I'm like, I gotta meet this guy. And I called the guy, and I got, I didn't get the responses, and I emailed him, and I called the assistants, and I couldn't get a hold of the guy. And one day I was driving to the restaurant, and I get a call. It's like, is this Santiago Arana? Yes. It's like, I'm Rodrigo Iglesias' assistant. Mr. Iglesias said that he is available to meet you in an hour. And I was literally driving, coming from Los Feliz, about to make a left on La Cienega to go to L'Orangerie, which I used to work with. And I'm like, where does he want to meet? He's like, at Gaucho Grill across the street from here that closed, unfortunately. And he'll meet you there in an hour. I'm like, I'm there. I called the restaurant sick, and I came straight here. I sat there and I waited for him for an hour, and he didn't show up. Didn't show up. And I was fucking pissed. I was like, I have a good job in L'Orangerie. I mean, I'm jeopardizing that for this guy, right? But that's a perfect example of like, that's how failure tries to get you back on giving up. And I was like very upset, and I was like, you know what? Maybe he forgot, maybe he's busy, maybe he's delayed. I'm gonna wait another 10 minutes. And as soon as I said, I calmed myself down, I got a call. And he's like, I'm so sorry, I apologize. I'm gonna be honest with you, I forgot. Exactly, because I got to know him really well there, and yeah, that's who he was. And he's like, let me make it up to you, let me buy you lunch tomorrow. And then we met, we had lunch, and the first thing he did is he gave me the book, The Science of Getting Rich. Because I was talking to him, he's like, okay, look, I don't need an assistant, I have 4 assistants, I don't need anyone, everybody calls me, that's why I didn't get back to you. But he connected me because I was talking Spanish with him, and we were from South America or whatever, so he's like, what do you need? And I said, I just want advice. Just tell me 2 or 3 things that you did, and I just want advice, that's all I want. I don't want to work for you, nothing. So he goes in and brings a book and gives it to me. He's like, read this book and call me when you're done. Okay. And when I read the book, and I realized I'm doing everything with the wrong attitude. No, what you do is how you do it. So then I started to turn off with a different attitude. I started to change my perspective on things. And then I get a call from a guy who's like, hey, my wife said to mention that you came to the house that you know, are a real estate agent, I'm thinking about selling, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, it was a 1.8 house up on Summit Ridge. And I was like, 1.8? I'm like, how am I gonna get that, right? I got Rodrigo to come with me and help me get it. I didn't try to go and get it alone. So we got it, then I got a $5 million listing that I brought him in, and every time I got something, I would call him and say, thank you so much. I would call listing to the point that we did 4 or 5 deals, and he's like, hey, why don't you just come to Saturdays? Because it's going to be easier that way, we're going to be closer to each other, blah, blah, blah. No problem, not working for him or anything, just working closely, right? And that's how everything started. So 2006, 7, I started to do better. In 2007, I decided I'm going to drop the restaurant, finally, right? I don't need to work in the restaurant anymore. And I'm doing good now. Finally, this moment arrived. So I quit the restaurant, and then 2008 comes, and everything goes to shit. Literally. And the little money that I saved, I remember I got a place here. I rented a 3-bedroom right here on Mayfield, or I don't remember what it was. I can't remember, to be honest. But we moved in. We had our first son, and I was like, I think we're gonna have to try to get out of this lease because we can't afford it anymore. So we had to move to another. I talked to the owner of the building and explained the situation. I told him I was in the business, that what's happening, and he said, no problem. As long as you come in another one of my buildings, I'll let you out. So he took me to another one, of course, farther south, smaller, whatever, but I was just happy to be able to get out and be comfortable that I could afford it. And he got to a point where I just ran out of money, right? And then was when I was put in a situation like, okay, what am I gonna do now? like I have a kid, I think I need to just go back to the restaurants until this shit passes, right? Nothing's selling, the phone is not ringing. So, print my little freaking resume again, and I'm driving to Venice, and I'm about to get out of my car, I remember, Navalkini, to start like dropping applications, and that's when it hit me, and I was like, how can you do it? Like, I'm not gonna give up on this, I wanna fucking make it happen. I don't care how the market is, I don't care what's going on, and I got my car, and I went back, and from that moment, it only went up. And that's what happens. It's like that decision that you make that you won't give up is one that's gonna get out there, and you're gonna feel it. Yeah. So, now that I shared that with you,
By the way,
We have to process it, that's real heavy.
Santiago, you should have them. I listened to your story because of Max Nelson's podcast, and I would sit and make my husband like on long trips, like, but he loves these stories. And yours was like, he's like, what a great story. And he's like, I hope everyone in your office like hears that, because it's not one of those situations where you like, you came, you know, we know that all people that they come from money and so they have their debt, like whatever. It's a great story because it's, I mean, it's so real and so raw and so, you know, relatable in different situations that everyone may have been through that at some point in their life, but that you stuck to your guns and you didn't go back to what you know, out of fear. You could have easily gone back to the restaurant business, and that could have delayed your whole real estate career. So anyways, I just want to say we both really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
It's really good.
And you know, it's that decision, and that's why this chapter is short, and it seems simple, but it's really important. And it's not just, I'm deciding to do something, I'm like, meaningless. It's a real decision. It's a life-changing decision that you make, right? And at that moment is when like really activates. And it's very powerful. That's what I say, you get introduced to that real self of yours, you know, that who really is in charge. You are in charge of your life, no one else is. So, I think that's it for today, guys. I don't know, do you have any questions? Do you have any questions about this? Should we check what the exercises are?
I thought it was really interesting that it said most like successful people in life, whether that's monetary or emotionally or whatever, they make decisions very quickly and change their minds very slowly. And people that tend to struggle in life in other ways, they tend to make decisions very slowly and then change their minds very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how it happens. A quitter never wins and a winner never quits. Okay, are you a leader or a follower?
Leader.
61. You gotta do these exercises, they're very helpful. Because these like help you get in the, because you leave these right now, you get a phone call, you forget about it, oh how excited that class was, great, cool story, and then you go in your normal life and you kind of get reeled back into what you're doing, right? But you gotta go and do these exercises because it keeps you connected to it, keeps you accountable of continuing to do the same, right? So do this exercise, how to get the exact position you desire. Decide exactly what kind of job you want, and it walks you through it. I mean, it really walks you through it on how to do it, you know? Some people need more than other ones, but I think we should all do this. I'm gonna do it again. What's your QQS rating? And then there's a failure inventory that's always good to fill out to know how are you doing with failure deferment. That's always a shocker. And then you do an inventory of yourself. I mean, how cool is that? Right? Self-analysis questionnaire for personal inventory. All these are 5 exercises. You have to do it. Accurate analysis of over 25,000 men and women who had experienced failure disclosed the fact that lack of decision was near the head of the list of the 30 major causes of failure. This is no mere statement of a theory, it's a fact. Analysis of several hundred people who had accumulated fortunes well beyond the $1 million mark. And think about, this is talking $1 million mark in late 1800s. Back then $1 million was probably like what 50 million right now, right?
Yeah.
Well, fortunes well beyond the $1 million mark disclose the fact that every one of them, had the habit of reaching decisions promptly and of changing these decisions slowly. And when there were change, slowly, if and when there were change, if they changed it, which probably they didn't as often. People who fail to accumulate money without exception have the habit of reaching decisions, if at all, very slowly, and changing these decisions quickly and often. That's why sticking to it is important. Reaching your own decisions. And then this one, deeds and no words. Let one of your first decisions be to keep a closed mouth and open ears and eyes. We all know that, right? 2 ears, 1 mouth. It talk 50% of what you listen. But not hear, listen. There's a difference between hearing and listening. Tell the world what you intend to do, but first show it. Show it by actions. That I think is super important. You have to do things to be example. Like kids again is a perfect example, right? I can tell my son that has an iPhone now that he can use his iPhone at dinner table if I'm using my iPhone at the dinner table, right? You can't tell him to do, you need to show him how to do. And it's the same thing with your clients, with your friends, with your business, with your co-workers, with everybody. Like, you need to do things so people know, like, okay, he says he's gonna do something, he does it. He's not like just saying it, you know? Any questions? Anyone? No? We're so quiet today. What happened? Did the fog got your mood down? Yeah. All right, let's grab some music then.
We need to make
Get some music going. All right, guys, thank you.